Have you ever had regret in your life from a conversation at home or at work where you let your anger or frustration have the best of you? Maybe you said things that you didn't mean to say or you didn't want to say, but they just kind of came out and you paid the consequences for it as a result of that. So today we're going to talk about self-management. How do we improve that to better our relationships at home and at work? All right, so let's jump into it today. Self-management, part of our emotional intelligence series, one of the 4 pillars of emotional intelligence actually, and one of the easiest ones to spot. So as you go throughout your life, you see these people, they're controlled by their outbursts, they are controlled by their emotions running them down, and basically they're their own worst enemy. So self-management is really how do we control those things to navigate life without destroying relationships in the process. So let's get an understanding of self-management. So this is how you act, react, or take no action at all in those situations that annoy you, frustrate you, and sometimes send you over the edge. So the second piece of this is understanding your triggers. And that's really dependent on your self-awareness. So if you miss the self-awareness piece, you can actually jump right here and go back and watch that video because the two are tied so close together. The third piece to it is really understanding that this is a long-term mindset. This isn't something that you can just put a Band-Aid on and walk away from. You've got to constantly work on your self-management to get in a habit that is of self-control. All right, so we're going to actually bring in Scott today to give us some examples of, again, bad self-management and good self-management. So I'll cover 2 different scenarios as if I were his supervisor, giving feedback on him to you. So Scott is quick and harsh and too much to the point. I wish he'd take some time to gather himself when things get stressful. He vents a lot. Scott has also had a hard time letting other people win or really acknowledging their contributions over his own. It's not that he doesn't care about other people. I think he does. He just lets his emotions fully control how he leads himself. All right, so that's an example of a poor self-management. You can see it in Scott as it boils over into him throughout the process. So let's look at an example of great self-management. So Scott, in one word, is a professional. He shows so much patience and empathy with everyone that he deals with, and it really shows when I see how he deals with ones that I know annoy him. He keeps a high standard, but handles his people with care and respect, no matter the circumstance. So a marked difference in between the two there. So let's cover some tips on how we can increase our self-management in our relationships. So tip number 1, find someone not invested in the situation or problem. So find someone outside of the scenario that you're struggling with or you're frustrated with to get their feedback, to get a third-party, non-biased look at the situation that you're in. Because you may have an unconscious bias that's driving the situation. You may have the triggers that you don't know about that's driving the situation. And so this person can help you see through that because they don't have the same hang-ups that we have in our lives. The second is to find a skilled mentor or advisor. So this is someone who has maybe walked the path of self-management before you and has come out the other side much stronger in their life walk. And they can give you some advice on what helped them during that process as well. So lean into a mentor. This also could be somebody that gives you advice on how to handle that frustrating person that you may be dealing with at your workplace, at school, or at home, because they have the same type of triggers that you do. The third thing is to add some space, mental space, in the moment. So if you're getting frustrated with somebody, a trick that you can use is actually to do math in your head. It seems odd, but it actually works because it makes your brain focus on something else totally. And when your brain focuses on something else, the emotion kind of just washes through you. So try to do some multiplication, division whatever it takes to help get your brain off of the immediate emotion that's right there in front of you as well. So the fourth is learning from everyone that you meet. So this is taking the opportunity to really observe and to understand the struggles that other people go through, the successes that other people have. So as you see people with a poor self-management, look at them. Look how they're handling themselves and look how it comes across to you. And then have the self-awareness to know that, oh my, that could be the way I come across to others, right? Another way to look at people is through their success. So seeing the frustration situation that you know that you would be in their shoes and how they handled it in a very empathetic and positive way. It's always a great example for us to follow, as well as finding examples for us to stay away from as well. So those are 4 tips to help in your self-management, to help in your self-control as you build your relationships at work, at home, and at school perhaps. So think through those and how you can apply those in your life today, because they're all very practical steps. So build your self-management, strengthen your self-control, and increase your emotional intelligence, and make a better tomorrow.